just a perfect evening. Something just kind of fell into place. A lot of different factors were there, and you were with the people you love. You've been entertained by something that really gave you some good feelings, and you just left really feeling good. Did that ever happen to you?
Yes.
Of course. Doesn't happen often enough. Well, this happened to me last Saturday night. My wife and I found ourselves in Tigard at the Broadway Rose Theater. Now, I know nothing about the Broadway Rose Theater in Tigard, but we were invited with some guests to go with them, and we were entertained with the production of My Fair Lady, hence the title of this speech. Henry-Higgins, of course, and Eliza Doolittle. You know those characters? Of course, you've been there. This little company is doing well, less than 20 years old. This production is in a theater which sat 600 people. And I looked around, I didn't see many empty seats. 600 people for one production. They've probably seen it before, of course, but wow, that's a pretty good drawing power. I looked in the program and I saw, geez, this is being given more than once. 2, 3, 4, 5, 14 times it's scheduled over August and September. Well, even if they had half that number every performance, that says something. So that must have a ubiquitous infection in the community to attract that many people, different people now, for those performances. I thought to myself, wow, this is really something. I'm a part of something that's happening here. If you know the plot of My Fair Lady, you know that Henry-Higgins is a professor of linguistics, the language. And the early part of the play deals with his effort to be able to identify where people live in the community of London by their accent. He was pretty good at that. And he took on the challenge of taking this Cockney girl and teaching her the King's English and passing her off to those that are critical about it. But during that little section early on in the play, I was reminded of Toastmasters. Of course, that's what we do here, isn't it? We improve our English. We try to get rid of all those things that interfere with good communication. We try to focus our thoughts and be able to communicate well. So I was sitting there watching this, thinking of Toastmasters. Oh, geez, that really makes sense because the actors on the stage were speaking in a way that I could hear them and understand them. I left also with the thought that a small theater like this is really a jewel. And I thought to myself, well, there are many small theaters in the community. Let's take Longview, for instance. The Pepper Theater is a location at the Columbia Theater, which unfortunately is history now. Stageworks, local talent on stage. You have the Wallenberg Theater at LCC, that's used by LCC, the drama department. They also have a smaller stage. The Main Stage Theater at R.A. Long puts on plays with high school students. And I hope that you have taken the time to attend some of these performances, because of the fact that it takes courage, real courage, to be on stage. You think standing here takes courage. When you're on a stage and you're all alone, that is tough. And I admire those people who can take themselves out of their comfort zone, take on the identity of someone else, and entertain. The challenge of a live performance is just that. It is live. When you watch television or go to the movie theater, how many takes does it take before you actually see the actual performance? But when you're on stage, every performance is different. And that's the challenge. That's the entertaining value of it. And you have to admire those people who put themselves in that situation, because they can make a mistake. And when that happens, that kind of adds to the entertainment value when somebody does make a mistake. Now, I must give you some self-disclosure here. I am married to a performer. Some of you know that. She has been on stage for many years. She's a singer, an opera singer. She's performed in leading performances in Europe, in the United States, South America, Australia. She knows what it's like. And the years that we've been together, I've seen it from the other side, from backstage. Seen the nervousness, the tension, the self-defeating attitudes that sometimes come from a poor review. And you take that personally. But it takes somebody who's willing to risk themselves, to put themselves on stage and do something for the benefit of others. There's one person in this crowd today here who has taken that role as well. And I noticed this in the paper just a few days ago. LCC is performing Godspell. They have 5 performances. We're right in the middle of that, so to speak. This coming weekend, there are several. And there's one gentleman who has his first acting role at LCC, Jay Wiley. And the cast new role of John the Baptist and Judas. Now that is going to be a challenge. So I single him out, not to embarrass him, well, maybe a little bit, but to say that any of us can be on stage. This is that stage. But if you're not going to be on stage, at least be in the audience. Because these theater companies depend on people to sit in the seats. That's the only way they survive. These theater companies live on a shoestring. Their profit is in the performance, not in the pocket. And each one is struggling. Now, LCC is a little different. It's associated with the school. Don Carell is a passionate guy. He's got that fire in the belly. And he tries to give that to every one that he works with. And it works. I would encourage you to see Godspell this weekend. I would encourage you to go to any other performance of Stageworks and Main Stage Theater, or even the Broadway Brothers in Portland. There are many small theater companies in this community within 50 miles.